happening in certain areas of this world. Welcome back to Guna Matters. Your opinion matters on the show, and if you can see at the bottom, your opinion matters. Help keep this platform honest by being polite to our guests and, of course, the live chat audience. So, please do follow Guna Matters on all the platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, I'm new on TikTok, but you can also follow me there. So gently hit the like, or let me rather say, gently touch the like, as it says here at the bottom scrolling. And let's get into it. Tonight, I've got a newbie with me. Let's see. Robin is his name, but he goes with the handle the United View. So, as you know, we do support football firstly, and then of course we've got the various fan bases like Liverpool, United, Spurs, Chelsea, and whatnot. Robin, welcome for the first time on the show, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Tell me quickly, a United fan, why did you become a United fan? Just to give a bit of a background of who you are.
Okay, when I started watching soccer '94 World Cup, the first poster I got myself or my sister got me was actually a Roberto Baggio poster. And me and my cousin, we were very close. And obviously '94, '95, he started watching soccer and he started following Manchester United basically. But it was more that we were watching all soccer. I mean, one of my favorite players was Mark Overmars, you know. So he was one of my favorites. I started following the Dutch as well. But yeah, from '96 basically was when I really started following United now. Because my cousin, basically, I used to follow my cousin all over the show. And I started I just liked because he's a bit older than me, like 3, 4 years older than me. And then I started just following him. And then I started catching on. And before long, I was United fan.
Okay. So you were really influenced by somebody, if I may say that.
Yeah, looking at the '94 World Cup, like I said, I started basically watching it because the guy that caught my attention '94 World Cup was the Mexican keeper, Campos, George
Campos, yes,
Campos,
I remember Campos. It's a bushy hair
and
type of
then
longish hair.
he,
Yeah.
he used to wear the colorful gown, the colorful clothes. Used to call him the clown. He used to wear that
The
colorful
clown,
colors
yes,
goalkeeper kid.
correct.
And then I remember at Shell they used to have these cards. At Shell they used to sell those cards. Those you
Those
could
those
exchange
World
it
Cup
and stuff
cards,
like that.
yes.
Yes. And basically my love for soccer started there. My another friend of mine and obviously my cousin, we started basically buying those cards, exchanging it. And then my sister bought me, like I said, the Roberto Baggio picture. And
Oh,
then after that, going from there, my cousin had a son. I don't know how did he fall in love with the Dutch league and with Dutch players. And then I started watching Mark Overmars. And when I used to play soccer, I used to wear number 14. I used to
okay.
be a big Mark Overmars fan. But
So why don't you
unfortunately,
join? Why don't you join Arsenal?
no, but like I say, my cousin was very much into United and
Okay.
obviously, being with him and going all over with him and he introducing me to different, not to sports, playing sports, but he was someone that also used to watch sports. So I used to
Yeah.
watch what he watched and then afterwards I just fell in love with United. I used to be a big Cantona fan. As you can see, I can't now turn around. You can see the number 7 at the back.
Okay.
So yeah,
One of the United greats. Yes, yes, yes. I like Cantona.
yeah.
Here's a message, Mr. Rob Byron Damon. I don't know if you know this guy. He says Mr. Rob. He's probably one of your followers there. And then just to go quickly to the one of the live chats there is hi Glenn, enjoy your shows as well as Alex, which Alex is the guy who got me into this, and Ange, Paul Bray, and the watch alongs. And here, as I am part of Anne's show on a Thursday night with my opinions on the women team and my section, the under 18-21. All right, cool. Thanks, Emerson. So this is one of my contacts in my on my other platform. So yeah, these guys they very clued up when it comes to football, and they're all in UK.
Okay,
So
no, that's nice.
so tell me, Robin. I probably would have thought you would follow Mark Overmars instead of your cousin. So you would have been Arsenal fan if you did that.
I think I've been more of a Dutch fan than
Oh,
a
okay,
Arsenal fan.
okay. So the rivalry is really there.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what? For Arsenal, I don't know if you've known this. A lot of people say that the North London derby is the biggest rival in London, but the biggest rival for Arsenal is United actually. Because Spurs is not much of a rival for us, only in London, but our biggest rival. I don't know if you can remember the days of Roy Keane and even before then, there was a lot of passion to play against those two teams, each team
yeah,
against each
yeah.
other. So that was the rivalry. In fact, that I like. You know what, Tottenham and no disrespect to the Tottenham fans, they're not really much of a rival for us. All right, so now that we know a bit of you, so just want to go into uh, a segment of last night, just to clear up what happened last night. You guys had a good game. You had a 1-0 win, but in aggregate, you've got a I think 5-1 aggregate win
Yeah,
last night.
five. Yeah.
I didn't watch your game. Can you sort of just give a bit of a rundown on how do you think United played last night? I mean, it was an away goal, a win game.
It's more that they handled their business. It wasn't anything to write home about. I was a bit surprised that Real Betis never came with more hunger out, with more passion, with more fight. It's like United just went through the paces. De Gea did keep them in with some good saves. There was some time when Real Betis did threaten, but it was very few in between. And for me, I think if they had to score early in that game, it could have changed to get the crowd behind them.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, they don't have the individual quality, and as a team, they just couldn't match United. But it was a scrappy game, to be honest.
yeah. But to be fair, the job was done at Old Trafford already last week.
Yeah, so basically what United did was they sit back and allowed them to come, but like I said, Real Betis never really came. So
Yeah,
they made it easy for United. There was no scare or something to do for us as fans, supporters to say, hey, can something happen? Because I mean, if they score first, I mean, it's very hostile in Spain at that stadium. But unfortunately for Real Betis,
for
they just
British.
didn't
Yeah,
pitch on the day.
yeah. One more question on that. Do you think you guys can go all the way to win it? I mean, Juventus is there, Sevilla is there. I think your game next is Sevilla. Juventus is there. Juventus is playing Sporting, and I think I couldn't remember the rest of the draw. But do you think you can go all the way to go get the double?
Look here, realistically, we can go, we can take it. Realistic, we can take it, we can win it. But United doesn't have the depth, to be honest. So they're still fighting the FA Cup as well. They're playing the FA Cup the weekend. They got the league, which they're not yet guaranteed top four, and they
Mm,
got Europa. So and I mean, I think United's in the same boat as your Arsenal, where they do not really have depth.
mm,
So if they get the injuries back and they don't pick up any injuries, then they can actually win it. But I mean, they've been playing games from December now, 3 games basically every four. They're playing a game every 4 days, and you can start seeing basically they starting to feel it.
yeah, the
But I do
fatigue
think
will,
they,
will
yeah,
Look, I mean, I can see obviously there's a trend now with Ten Hag, and a lot of people, as I myself thought, who's Ten Hag? You know what? He did well in the Eredivisie, in at Ajax, but I'm coming to England. It's got a whole ball game, and the stat shows that no Dutch coach really did well in the Premier League, and especially at United. I mean, Louis van Gaal was there, a very good legend in the Dutch community, and he didn't pull it off for you guys. So I think with all the negativity that came with Ten Hag being appointed, he did well for himself in his first season. So, do you think he's the man to take you guys to the next level?
Look, when I heard about Eric Ten Hag, obviously I'm one of those individuals where if something comes in, I try to do as much research as I can about it. And
Mm,
what I've seen with him in by Ajax basically was the discipline he has, and the type of soccer, the structure, his philosophy. So lots of people always talk, like you say now, him coming in and a Dutch team, a Dutchman should never really survived in the English league. I just think he came in before we accepted the job. He had his interview with the guys, with the Glazers and Ralph and the Merters and the Arnolds, and said, "Look here, I'm not in wanted for a job. I have a job, but if I do come, this is my my conditions,
expectations. Yeah, yeah.
my expectations, and this is what I'm going to work towards. Because at the end of the days, if the team is going to fail, I'm going to lose my job."
Mm-mm.
And I think that's where he won us as fans. Oh, because I mean it was a long process, and then he came in and then he started showing his discipline.
Yeah,
I don't think United is a final art, the final piece of the puzzle. I think there's still more to come. He doesn't have all the players that he wants, or the players that suits his philosophy.
yeah.
But I think maybe another two transfer windows, then I think he will be the one to take us to our glory days. But they only gave him a 3-year contract. I'm not sure how does he want to stay by United? Does he build a legacy? Because I mean, he doesn't need the money. He's quite rich. He comes from a rich family.
Yeah.
So all depends what is his goal. Does he want to stay and build a legacy at United? Because where do you go to from United? If you're successful at United, where do you go to? You got only go to Madrid.
Yeah.
That's all. So maybe if he's successful, maybe he decides to stay at United and build a legacy. Because I don't see other upcoming managers that really blows my mind away at this present moment.
Okay, and then this is my last questions regarding Ten Hag. And with the likes of your new owners perhaps coming in, I don't see they changing that because the momentum is there. The project is almost there's direction in the project that is brought in. But that can count against you if they have a different view for the club against him as such.
Yeah, I actually spoke about this last night on one of my platforms where I mentioned this about the Qatarian. So I'm not quite sure, is it an individual owner that's going to buy the club, or was it a state-owned
Consortium.
consortium that's going to buy the club? So my biggest worry is if you get it where you got it like City Wave, it's a consortium, they can come in and they can change the name. So everybody has to shouting for Qatar to come in now. Will they still be shouting if they decide, hey, look here, we want to change the name now? Because there's so much money in Old Trafford, you
Mm,
know? So I don't think if it's the guy that, like he says, he's a United supporter. What he wants to do is improve the stadium. He doesn't want to build a new stadium. He wants to improve that stadium. He wants to improve the training facilities. He wants to take our debt away. Then yes, go all good. As long as if he says that's what you want to do and he sticks to it, and he's quite happy with the progress he's seen under Ten Hag. But there
yeah,
was rumors going that they might come and they say, look here, we want Zidane, you
yeah,
know. So people must be careful for what they ask for. If this guy comes in and he delivers on what he's saying, all fair and well. But if he comes now in and he starts saying, you know what, this is a state-owned club now, we can do basically what we want, you know. And to be honest, United don't need the money. They just need someone to come in to say, you know what, we'll invest in the stadium, invest in Carrington, and take your debt away. That's what
yes,
United need. United don't need new rich owners. United makes
mm,
700 million a year on revenue. So if we
yes,
take our debt away, if we can clear our debt, we can spend 500 million a transfer window without FIFA fair play being even brought into the equation, because
yeah,
United has
yeah,
its own money, you know. So we just need an owner that is doing it for the club and the fans, supporters, basically. So yeah, that's
correct.
my take on the whole thing.
All right, cool. Now, so we're gonna go into the form of United of late. The last five. Let me just blow that up completely. the last five games for United, is it you are second? You're in second place. No, no, you third. Sorry, I made that. That's wrong. You third. You've played 26 games. You got a game in hand because of your Carabao final. That's why you've got that game in hand. And
Yeah,
then, of
yeah.
course, you got 15 wins, 5 draws, 6 losses, and you are smack bang on 50 points with a goal difference of 6. And then your last five is a draw, a lose, win, win, and a draw. Um, you had quite a good run of form for quite a long time period, and all of a sudden you see the fatigue, like you said early on. There's a lot of games that you've played since December. The depth of your squad obviously is not that big, as we know, but this guy on the picture there, Rashford, if he gets injured, what is United gonna be able to do? Turn things around and go to the next for 40, 13 games? No, 12 games. How many games do you think without him you guys can turn around and win?
I must say something that lots of United supporters won't agree with. But you know, as good as Rashford is, ever has been this season,
Mm,
should sometimes he does become a bit too selfish. Sometimes he doesn't really track back as well.
yeah,
Yes, he's finishing. Yes, he's finishing. A lot of chance has been created, and he's finishing them. So you can't take that away. But should someone else come in there? I mean, you got Canacho, you got Sancho that come in there, you know. Because now you're fighting with on Anthony on the right, you're fighting with Anthony, Sancho, and Palestri to get game time. Because obviously you won't drop Rashford because he's in the form of his life. But should he get injured, hopefully he doesn't. Touch wood, hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't. But I don't think it will be such a big thing that people make it out to be. To be honest, because I think Rashford, Sancho will be able to do it because at the moment Sancho is like in and out of the team. He can't really build momentum. He can't get confidence. But if he must
struggling.
go, but if he must go on a run of two, three full games of 90-minute games, especially the system Ten Hag is playing, then you might just see a different side of Sancho that we've never seen yet. But that's just my take. But like I say, there's still a lot of games left. But you can start seeing fatigue is starting to kick in by United.
Yeah, because my concern is, I mean, we look, United is a formidable team. Their form is great, especially now. I mean, they can go and win every game, but there's that odd opportunity that they miss. I mean, look at the I think the game against Palace, that was a midweek game where we played you the Sunday or the Saturday thereafter, and Casemiro got the yellow card, and you went and draw the game on the last couple of seconds. That was a turnaround point for you guys. There, you lost a bit of focus in that game. Sorry, you were
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. No, you're correct. We lost basically our momentum took a knock there because if we won that game, our mindset will maybe be different. But like you say, I mean, we played Barcelona. Then we played. I'm not quite sure who we played. We played Barcelona Thursday. We played the Saturday, the Sunday. Then we played Palace midweek.
Yeah,
Nah, we played Palace. Then after Palace, we played again the Sunday. Then we played. Oh yeah, after
Palace.
Palace, we played you guys.
Yeah,
After you guys, we played Barcelona second leg. After Barcelona, we played Carabao Cup final. After Carabao Cup, we played again Thursday night or Wednesday night, and then from there we played against Liverpool and we lost 7-0.
yes.
You know, so basically
So
we've been playing Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday for the last I don't know how many months since December, January, basically.
yeah, now you played a lot of games. So yeah, I think with United's form taking a dip in that particular week, that was a very bad blow for you guys. And then of course, your game against Southampton also didn't help much after the Liverpool loss. You failed to capitalize in that game. And these are the
Yeah.
two captains. I think the visiting captain was the better on the day. Well, that is what I've seen. I didn't watch the game, but in the little bits that I've watched, I think he did very well. And Bruno, to me, shouldn't have that armband. I think he plays much better without that armband. That's just my opinion.
Look, yeah, I won't say take the armband away from him because I mean his record for the year. I mean, I think he lost one game as captain and he won the Carabao Cup. But I just think that he needs to work on his attitude because as soon as things doesn't go his way, it affects him very bad, and then he doesn't really, he becomes very hot headed, and then he'll just go slide into a tackle and doesn't care about the consequences, or he'll get go into the
Mm-mm-mm.
box and he can create a penalty
And he
and those things.
throws
So
his
he needs to
hands
work.
up and
Yes, and that is something that frustrates me the yell out of me, to be honest, because it's every time, you know, get on with the game and get up and you go put the next tackle in. And obviously, like I play rugby, so I watch a lot of rugby, and I always tell the guys, if you don't take a rugby player, if a guy gets tackled there and the game is going on, he doesn't wait and fall here and wait, call the referee. He gets up, he does his thing, and when the ball goes out, you confront the referee, go speak to the referee and say, look here, what happened or why, whatever. But
yes.
he lays there, he holds his head, and yeah, sure, it frustrates me, to be honest. I hate it in general. I hate it in soccer. I hate it because for me, I think it's just unsportsmanlike. I just
Yeah,
hate
no,
it
it is.
in soccer in general. All teams, all players, they all do it.
Yeah, I mean that's the trend of football players, and that shouldn't be the case of the game. It just kills the game. I mean, already taking a lot of time away from the VAR situation, and now the guys are still rolling around. They roll the whole field with one kick, and yeah, that is not nice. So I'm hoping for United really to stick the form out and keep the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea and Spurs out of the top four. Look, it's fair to say that Liverpool can still make top four because of their form they just reached now. And most of their injured players, impact players, is now back. So it's going to be tough for Liverpool because both Brighton and Newcastle have a game on them. But your form, I wish for you to obviously to fight and stay in the top four. Um, so the question then when it remains is, I heard you on one of your platforms that you've given your top four. Has that changed?
I'll still say Arsenal, City, United, and I got a funny feeling it's going to be Tottenham. I
You
won't be
think
surprised if
Tottenham?
I won't be surprised if Liverpool sneak in. I won't be surprised. But I just think from experience wise, Tottenham has the bit more better than Newcastle. Eddie Howe has never been in this position.
Yes, yes.
Conte has, Tottenham's players has. I just don't think Newcastle's players and managers ever been in this position that they are right now. But Liverpool do, I think, do have an outside chance.
Yeah. So you don't write in Brighton or even Newcastle to make a surprised top four position.
Newcastle, maybe. Brighton, no. Uh, I think it will be Tottenham's to lose.
Mm.
I think that top
Okay.
four, like it is now, will remain. Maybe, like I say, that Liverpool can sneak in there.
Okay. Yeah, I think Liverpool can still make it because of the form. Like I said, their form they hit good form now after just a game or two before your game, and then they went and dropped it the game thereafter. That is a bad one. But we're not gonna.
But
we're not-
yeah, but you know what, nah, that Madrid game, and just like your game last night, and I'm not sure if you heard me quite a few times where I said that thing that there's a come a time, and even Ten Hag will have to prioritize, decide, look here, what is more important. And I mean, myself, and truly you as well, never expected Arsenal or United to be in this position. I think at the beginning
No.
our goals would be top four and a trophy, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, whichever. Uh, and I mean, the Arsenal being knocked out of the Europa and Liverpool being knocked out of the Champions League might just be a blessing because you're only focused
Yes.
on one thing now. You're only focusing on one. Unfortunately for Arsenal, it comes at the loss where you've lost your two defenders, which for me was I either you rotate your squad or you go to win it. But after going 1-all up and then you brought all your first team players in just to lose the game, and
Yeah, well,
you
that
got
makes sense.
a tough. Plus, you have a tough game against Crystal Palace coming up. But now your majority of your players played 70, 80 minutes because you are still extra time and all that things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
I
look,
so I just think, yeah.
sorry, go for it, go for it.
Now I just think, like I said earlier on previous platforms, there's the come a time where Ten Hag will also have to prioritize, and just like Arteta, we do not have the depth. We do not have a City squad that can fight on all fronts. We just don't.
Yeah.
Yes, Arsenal lost now, not because they were fielding a weaker team. It just wasn't their day, but it came in at an expense now where they lost a senior defender and Crystal
Yeah.
Palace the weekend. I mean, you don't want to go lose against Palace and then your whole momentum because City's only 5 points behind you. And you still need to play City at the Etihad. You still need to play Liverpool. You still need to play Chelsea.
And Brighton and
So
Newcastle.
and Brighton and Newcastle. So you don't want to put your. So now you put yourself in a position where you do not know if you should lose on Sunday against Palace. How would that affect all the hard work you did through the season?
Yeah. Now look, last night's game, we lost the game last week already because we had a poor performance last week. We had the our second string team played, and I thought if you really wanted to win the game, you go all in. I mean, Arteta said it in the beginning. He wants his players to play 70 games a
Hmm.
season. All his players. Obviously, it's not possible that all his players are able to play 70 games. Obviously, his first 11 should be fit and they should have the intensity in most games. Last week, he fielded a fairly strong team that lost it. A goalkeeper and a new defender. You can't you can't put the two of them together if they don't understand each other play. I mean, Kivior came in and he ducked for the corner that came in, and the second goal was scored. He actually ducked. As a defender, you must rise. You mustn't duck. Uh,
Yeah.
and I and I think
Welcome to Harry Maguire. Welcome to Harry Maguire. You got your own Harry
yeah.
Maguire.
And I thought, you know what? It's good to have him giving him minutes, but not in such a game that if you really wanted to exceed or succeed and go to the next level. And then we obviously drew a 2-2, but always knew coming to the Emirates, we have the best chance of winning it. But again, like you said early on, we played a strong team last night, and at the end of the game when we lost it in penalties, you ever thought of? And I mean, you probably saw my TikTok video that I made this morning. I was very upset last night. I was livid. I went off on our WhatsApp group that I'm a part of. Um, we lost two defenders, and one of those defenders is a number one starter, even though we have 75% of playing. It is maybe just a knock and a precaution to take him off, but we don't know that. So we don't know if he's
Yeah.
gonna be part of the game on Sunday. And then you went one up, and then you drew it, and then they press you, and then you still keep your weakest link on the field. And also the formation that we played was totally different as the normal formation. We didn't have the correct players on the field for that formation, number one. And number two is there was no intensity, like we pressed from the front. There was no of that intensity. So at the end of the day, we lost it the minute we we got a goal, and it was a freak goal, but I believe that guy he meant it because he saw Ramsdale off and he booted and he
Yeah,
executed that shot so nicely, and it went under the crossbar and in, and it's a
yeah,
goal. It was a beautiful goal. Nobody expected that goal, but he himself, you could see that he meant it. He just wanted to
yeah.
get some space, and he hit the ball.
And he looked up and he saw the keepers over the line and took his chance.
It took this chance and a bit of luck, yes, but it's a thing that he didn't cross think it's gonna get somebody else. It was a
Yeah,
shot. It was a
yeah,
perfect shot, and then you keep your weakest link Vieira on the pitch for too long. Bring in Odegaard and think that you're gonna change it. If you knew that you're not gonna bring in Odegaard early, then don't play him at all because now you're gonna my take is this: when you bring a player in to impact the game, when you want to win it and you're in a pressured position, he's gonna tie him more because mentally he's gonna have to be focused and he's
yeah,
gonna speed up the game. So everything is gonna be faster and faster. So he's gonna be tired quickly, and fatigue is gonna come in quickly. He changed the
yeah,
game immediately, but if you brought him in at least on the 60th, 70th minute when you saw Vieira's not affecting change in the game, then I could understand that. Then you want to really go and affect the game positively, win it, and get it over. But with that strategy, I didn't think it was working, and that in itself gave me the idea that we lost two defenders for nothing, really.
yeah.
So,
You know,
so
you were saying, yeah, no, speak.
so yeah, so that in itself is a situation for he had to make up his mind last week already and say, look, we drew the game. Then we play the same 11 like we did in that game last week, the away leg. Then we play the same 11 and just see what comes off with it and then concentrate on the league. But now, I mean, I got so livid with some fans that said this is a Mickey Mouse Cup. I mean, this is an elite cup. You wafer, and the one that you drop down to is the Europa League, and then that can't be a Mickey Mouse Cup. I got frustrated with some Arsenal fans saying, even though some of them made jokes and some of them did this, and understand the banter, but you know what? It's Arsenal. You can't still make jokes about a cup that you really want to win. You've never won a European Cup in almost
Yeah,
in over 30 years, so you need to get
yeah,
that pedigree. And you have that pedigree, you stand a chance next season in the UEFA with a cup behind your name and say, now Arsenal is a European winner, not the
yeah,
UEFA, but he's an European winner, and that after your name, especially this current young squad, that you have that after your name, the chances of people going to respect you more is big, because now we don't play with these youngsters. They are a young squad, but they are champions. You know what I mean?
Now, can I ask you quickly a question now?
Mm.
If you take Arsenal where they are now, so they out of the Carabao Cup, out of FA Cup, out of Europa League. What happens now? By somehow they don't win the league.
I'm going to
How
be
would
very
you
disappointed.
how would you consider this season?
I'm going to be very disappointed, but I was consistently in the season, even if we did well. Yes, I enjoyed the fact that we did well. And in my preseason video on this platform that I've made, I said my top four was City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. That was my top four. Um, a month ago, I said I'm going to keep to that still. I'm gonna only see after March, beginning April, mid-April, to see if I can change that, because I can't get carried away as a fan. I mean, we stand a good chance even now to win it, seeing that we're only playing once a week. Our team will be fresh, and this is the thing: if we win on Sunday, we win convincingly, or even if we win 1-0, then we are 8 points clear of City. City is not playing the weekend; they're playing FA Cup.
Yeah,
But then when they come back, they play Liverpool, and that game will then see what they're gonna bring. Then City's got
Yeah,
a if they win the weekend, they've got FA Cup, they've got League, and they've got Champions League. They have the squad, but I think their mindset will rather stick to winning, because if we have 8 points clear, they're gonna say let's rather go for the the UEFA Champions League, because it's
we
gonna be
never want
hard
that.
to it's going to be hard to catch Arsenal. And yes, they can catch us in 8 points. They've done it before. They can reach up to 8 points, which means they're going to have to win 9 games, and we're going to have to. I mean, they're going to win three games, and we're going to have to lose 3 games in order for them to obviously go ahead of us, because then we are 8 points clear. So in my mind is I still don't want to get carried away and get ahead of myself to say we are going to win it. I can't. On the last game and the last whistle, if we've won it, then I will say, yes, we've done it.
Yeah,
So I'm
but
going to take it
like,
game by game.
like with me was even when people talk about United in the was when they were saying United in the title race, United in the title race. My I stood with my stance was top four, and then any available trophy we can get. Top four and
You've got
any
the
available
trophy
trophy.
already.
So we got the trophy already. So if we end top four, it will be a successful season for us.
But you're also ahead of your schedule, because you never thought that you're going to have this form under Ten Hag, because it's a
No,
new
but yes,
manager.
yes, but that's
And
why I said for
so
me, my goal was
realistic,
just top four,
realistic goal,
and
yeah.
yeah, was top four and any available trophy. I didn't expect number one to be in a title conversation and to be so far in the FA Cup and the Europa. One thing I have learned about Ten Hag is because he prides himself in winning, and you can see he has really a love for United and what United stand for, that he goes with every game is we must win. There's no I'm the player weakened team, yo, I'm gonna do unnecessary changes here. He goes full out and say, you know what? I want to win everything. So this is my strongest available team. If I
To
lose,
play.
so be it. But we're going out, and he says, and in his words, and that's what was something that started pitching in my head when I realized that Arteta is not on that Arteta's not on that world class level as yet,
Mm,
because it was an interview Arteta said when he said we are playing too much games in a week.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
this is the last month basically was the only time that he had to play two games was the Europa League games now. Previously
yeah,
was the FA Cup game, and after the FA Cup game, he lost the FA Cup game because he couldn't compete on two levels. He doesn't know how to do it yet. you know. But here Ten Hag was fighting on all four fronts, and he's just saying the same thing. As a big club, you want to play 60, 70 games a year.
yeah.
And Arteta did say that he wants his players to play 70 a year, but don't say that, and then when something doesn't go your way, you
And
change the
change it. Yeah,
tune to suit the narrative, you
yeah,
know. And I think if I look at yesterday's game, Arteta still tries. I think he tries to be a bit too much like Pep, where he makes unnecessary changes to a team or to a formation when it doesn't need touching. So he brought in new players yesterday, but now you change the formation. Why don't you stick to what the formation is that you've been always that your players are comfortable with, and you go out with that and you bring. But now you bring in new players in with a new formation,
yeah,
and then you surprise if things don't gel in the game. He needs to find his identity, and because I mean he dresses like Pep, he walks like Pep, everything he does as Pep, it's like he watches Pep what Pep was wearing this weekend for the game, and then he wear the same clothes what Pep was wearing, black pants, khakis, and a jersey. I think he needs to find his own identity because he's a good coach, but he can become great. I think there's
yeah,
potential for him to go into that bracket.
yeah. Yeah, no, look, I mean, he's still a junior coach, and he's still a junior level. So just want to put on this slide for you. This is the last five of Arsenal. Aston Villa 4-2, Leicester 1-0, Everton 4-0, Bournemouth 3-2, and Fulham 3-0. That is the form, and of course, the last five games, as you see there, win, 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 win. This is a good view of Arsenal's standings. But that in itself is scary because now we out of the of every cup we only are in for the league, and that brings a lot of pressure on its own because now you are only playing once a week, so
You have no
you can't
excuses.
you can't have excuses of the players are fatigued because of tired and this and that. So you've got 5 days to plan your team.
Yeah,
You've got 5 days to. So that is extra pressure, and I think this is where the mentality is going to come in of those youngsters. And I think I always criticize Gary Neville saying these last 10 games we're going to see how they crumble. And I, in my mind, have that bit of doubt that they could crumble. But I think the confidence is high of the players, the momentum is there in the league specifically, and they have the hunger. So they're going to tell themselves, look, we're going to get a lot of pressure. We're gonna get a lot of flack from all avenues. We're gonna have to stay focused. And I like the captain at this stage, Odegaard. He's young, but he's a wise youngster. I don't know if you've
yeah,
heard his interviews and that, and I mean, he is the one that's gonna keep those youngsters positive. But then you also have Jorginho, Zinchenko, and Jesus, and even Trossard. Those are the senior newcomers that can, and all three of them are serial winners. They mean they've won it all.
yeah,
So they can come in and they can also change and just keep that mentality strong. But the pressure is going to be real. It's going to be hard because now there's no excuses. You have to now go, and this is a lot of Arsenal fans that's going to expect it now, because now you've got no excuses to go and win. But again, I would call out on Arsenal fans and say, don't get ahead of yourself, don't get carried away, because you can still bottle it. And I mean, we has to be consistent. We expect consistency from our team and our players, but we as fans are never consistent. We are the most inconsistent people part of a team. Have you noticed that? Because
yeah.
because
We one
the
moment
minute
they're the best, one the next moment they just out
they
manager, out players, out this player don't deserve to be there. Blah
ex-
blah blah.
exactly,
That's
so
that's bad.
that's a bad thing. And but yeah, I always call out. I mean, you've probably seen a couple of my TikTok videos. I'm very consistent when it comes to Arsenal. I will call out some fans, United, Liverpool fans. I will call them out because after that 7-0, they were very arrogant. They were very arrogant, and also some of United fans were arrogant before the game. So Arsenal fans are also arrogant because they think they're going to win the league. But you know what? You got to love football, and you got to expect that football is going to keep you on your seat, and they're gonna have your blood pumped, and they're going to stress you out. And I mean, so I like to be consistent in my content. If Arsenal does well, I want to say they do well. But if they do bad, I want to also say they do bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think you have been. I've seen a couple of your videos as well, and that should be the case. You can't be a fan that just
we
watch like this, just
yeah,
United, and
yeah.
United
And
only.
I think that was the biggest thing that happened regarding when it comes to this whole banter, because lots of people don't know how banter really works. They become very personal. For me,
Yeah.
banter is about uh, talking soccer in a respectful manner, but still there must be a bit of bite to it. You
Yeah.
know, like
That's,
like like example, I made my video where I said that I would choose a keeper that keeps his ball out of the net at any given day over a keeper that wants to be a defender. Maybe that, so I said, maybe Arsenal would have still been in the Europa League now if they had a keeper that was a keeper and not playing a defender. You know, so there was, it's not about for me to be now rude or something, or ugly towards the next person. That for me is
Yeah.
now, for me, I would consider that banter because it was funny, but it's my opinion that I prefer a keeper that his job is to keep the ball out of the back of the net. Whereas other people come now and says, my keeper must be able to play with his feet,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
true. I mean, you need to have, if you need to be consistent in your play, because I think that was taking for granted that Sporting is not gonna surprise you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, any team, it could have happened to anybody.
Yeah.
But don't take it for granted that it's not gonna happen to you. I just want to read here what Devi is saying. Devi, good evening, gents. Gee, I blame you for our loss last night, and you called it on Monday night already. Now, on Monday night, I watched the official Arsenal Supporters Club's video on YouTube, and I gave my prediction that we're gonna lose 2-1, and now Devi is calling me out on that. Yeah, it's one of those things, my man. I made a joke. However, I thought in my mind it could also be that we're losing that game, and we did. Um, all right. He's also saying he's agreeing with you. So yeah, you need to have a keeper that is vigilant at all times. And then I want to ask you this, Robin. No, no, sorry, I've done that. Sorry, this one. This is a blow for you guys, and 4 games. It's a long time. 4 games. I mean,
Basically, 7 games all in all with red cards.
yeah, but I mean for the next games is a Sunday's
Yeah.
game, and then 3 league games.
Yeah.
That's a massive blow. I mean, your next 5 games is Fulham in FA Cup, and then would you play in the league?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I don't normally look so far ahead. To be honest, I don't
Yeah,
look far ahead. I look at what's my next game. Because once you start looking far ahead, you start predicting and now if we can lose here, we can maybe get points here and we can do this here, we can do that. I just normally stick with we have Fulham next, and after Fulham I will look who's my next team and who do I wipe off
and that.
next.
Okay, so just to bring your attention to the weekend's game where he got the red card this weekend. That is a bad tackle, and the referee gave him a yellow card initially, and he had to go to VAR to go check. After VAR obviously told him. What is your take on this? Well, it's now a totally different topic, but just quickly on VAR, was it correct to give him the red card because he did go over the ball, and that obviously seemed very high, but giving him a yellow card in the first place was a bit. Obviously, the referee saw something else.
Everything looks much harsher once you do it in slow motion. So it all
Mm,
depends on the angles you're playing it from and all that. And like I made in a video, I'm not sure where I spoke about consistency. So for me, I would say from if you look at it in slow motion, like everybody else saw it in slow motion, uh, it does lunge into the tackle a bit. Let's be honest, it does lunge into the tackle a bit. He starts was up. The ball is round here, so he takes the ball, but his foot like almost bounces off the ball and into the guy's shin pad. So for me, is yes, it deserves a card, red card or yellow card. It depends on how do everybody interpret the rules. It does
mm,
deserve a card, but my thing it comes down to consistency. If this one was a card, the previous game should be a card. The Chelsea game as well. I am not saying now basically because that is not the card, this mustn't be a card because this deserved a card. Whether it was yellow or red, it deserved a
mm.
card. But now people want consistency, but wrong consistency. So there was no card given by the Chelsea game. Why is here a card given here? This deserves a card.
The
So
agenda is wrong. Yeah,
yeah, so here's a card. A card deserved here by Casemiro, but the card must be given there at the Chelsea
the
game. Not
Chelsea
there's no
game.
card there. Not that there's no card there and there's no card here. So there's no be consistency, but consistency on the wrong level.
Mm, 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 mm.
So that's
Yeah.
my take on it.
Also, I think the way I see it, the VAR changed it to say that the referee must go view it for himself. His left foot was also off the ground, and he went in
Yeah.
with the 2 feet. Although the left foot wasn't so forward like the right one. I think that is probably also why they could have said, look, take it as a red one. And do you think the Palace game one, the way he choked Hughes, I mean, that I thought as a funny, because they laughed afterwards, the two of them, and was that a red card really?
No, to be honest, sometimes those people need to, these referees and VARs, they need to look at intent as well. You went there to stop a scuffle. Yes, his
Mm,
hand was a bit high. We understand that, but he was trying to stop a scuffle. People is pushing all over the place. I'm not going to go and stop a fight and still worry where am I going to put my hands now. I want you to
yeah,
move away here, you know.
yeah,
And immediately after that, they were hugging and they were laughing. So as a VAR or as a ref, you must take that into consideration. There was
yeah.
no malice in that in what was happening there. Compared to I think the next game there was an Everton game, where Cody took the guy. Where you could
Yes,
see now the intent,
yeah,
So and for me, I spoke this thing the other day where soccer is one of the bigger, if not the biggest sport in the world. It brings the most money in. How can a rugby VAR work much better than
much
soccer?
better.
You can't have. There's not a week that don't go past where VAR is not criticized or there's doubt or debate.
Mm.
VAR
Look,
is supposed to be taking that away. VAR is supposed to be taking that away.
it's not
You know?
managed properly. It's not managed
Yes.
properly. I mean, if you look at our game again, I didn't say much. I didn't do any content on the Brentford saga with VAR, where they scored a goal and it's an offside goal, and the VAR forgot. Liam Mason forgot to draw the line. It was blatantly offside, and their excuse to justify the whole thing is that they took too long on the first instance. Um, it's VAR. You must get the decision right. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of work still to be done. I think Wenger has brought in something for the World Cup, and it worked. Remember the offside rule where the ref gets a notification. I think there was a microchip. I did a small show last year with an Hawkeye was called, but this is called something different. But it's got a certain thing is where they kick the ball and it can be picked up that the player was in an offside position the minute the ball was kicked. But that is technology, and I think that worked well in the World Cup. And yeah, Casimiro says, oh sorry, Byron is saying Casimiro is going to be out for Fulham, Newcastle, Brentford, and Everton, and that's huge games. Newcastle and Brentford is going to be a huge game. Everton not so much, but depending also whether you play home or away with
Yeah.
Everton, going to be a huge without him.
You, you you know what I liked about Ten Hag is he'll make a plan. It's gonna be the second time now where we're gonna play without Casemiro. So we got some bits as to come in surely for with Fred, and I think they did a good job. And this is the time where someone like McTominay, which is a seasoned veteran, he's a veteran, a seasonal or a seasoned campaigner already. He's played under Jose, he's played under Ole, so he's been there. So this is the time for him to come up and put his hand up and say, you know what? I am not leaving United next year. I still have something to offer here. So sometimes it's games like this where players need to put their hand up and be counted for, or if not, then you must take your bags and say, you know what, this club is too big for me. I need to go to another team where I can maybe perform at a certain level.
Yeah. But you know what? To be honest, I don't rate McTominay. He's got a red card in him. He gets away with a lot, personally, I think. But yeah, look, he's a decent squad player to have. Somebody that you can call upon and say, look, I can call upon you when I need you. Fred, for me, as a total transition under Ten Hag. I mean, I never rated Fred as a Brazilian player. He was just crap. And under Ten Hag, obviously, he's been transitioned completely. He's doing well now. And I mean, and that is what Ten Hag has brought to United, I believe. And I like that about him.
You know what? And
So,
I'm so glad you speaking that
sorry.
about. I'm glad you brought that up about McTominay. Like for me, McTominay, I put McTominay and Fred basically almost in one boat where they don't complain. They go about doing their thing. You know, if they play from the bench, they play. But sometimes you need more than just that work ethic, that will to
Mm,
play. Sometimes you do need a bit of quality.
mm,
And I think what was the problem previously with United that we don't have now, you cannot have Fred and McTominay both not offering
yeah.
really quality. Yes, they offer Fred is tackling, he's running, he's like a small chihuahua, he's doing what he must do.
Mm, mm,
But he's slow on the ball, his transition is slow because he can only use one leg. He can only play with if the ball is on his right, he needs to change his whole body just to accommodate him to get the ball onto his left foot. Whereas McTominay is like if he has too much time to think, he overthinks everything, then he does the wrong decision. He needs to play and like the ball come, he must be a defender on him, then he knows exactly what to do. But you
yeah.
cannot have too much of those type of players in your team where yes, you we also we want hungry and players that don't want to fight for the team, but you can't just have players that want to fight if there's no quality. And
Correct.
unfortunately, if one of them at the time on the field is alright, but having them both, you're playing basically playing with nine players.
Yeah. So, this is the evolvement of Arteta. Um, Arteta has come in 2019. He won the FA Cup, which I don't think it was really his team that won it. It was a team that he inherited, and even if Una Emre was there, probably would have won it himself. So I don't count that as a trophy really for him. It is under his reign, but these are the players that got the awards with him in the London Awards. He got
Yeah,
manager of the year, goalkeeper of the year, young player of the year, and player of the year. The captain Odegaard, and they are, in my opinion, legends in the making, as it says there. Can you say something in terms of being legendary if they are longer in the club? Do you think they could become legends of the game?
Odegaard, yes. Uh, Saka, the jury's still out if you can do it over a longer period over time. And then there's just something about Aaron Ramsdale that I don't like, so I'll say no. There's just something about it doesn't remind me of a Arsenal keeper, your Jan Lensman, your David Seaman, your Peter Cech, it's just
Take
something
them, yeah.
about him that that he does have that what happened yesterday in his bag, where
Mm-hmm.
I think he sometimes he becomes too arrogant. He does almost in a way like almost discredit or disrespect the opponents, things like that. It just for me doesn't give a charisma of an Arsenal keeper that I'm used to watching growing up. But Odegaard, legend. Saka, I'll give him another 2 seasons, and then I would really say, because it reminds me a lot of Bale coming from a defender into a forward position.
Mm.
So another 2 seasons, then I'll be able to give you more. But just something about Ramsdale that I don't know, man. Uh, I don't know how to put it to you. To be honest, it's just something about him.
Look, I'm not going to justify what you're saying, but what I would say about him or any keeper for that matter, you've seen it last night with Antonio Adan, that guy from Sporting. He's 35 years old, and a keeper is the only player. I mean, Buffon, he was what 41 before he hung up his gloves.
Yeah,
um,
Van der Sar won his last trophy was United as a 41-year-old.
as a 41-year-old. So a keeper is the only player on the pitch that really um, get his form as old as he gets. But as a young keeper, I feel I'm asking the question regarding him becoming a legend in the making in years to come. Is that because he's young and he's achieved quite a bit of experience in the short time. I mean, he was twice relegated with two previous teams, and all of a sudden he's become a number one in Arsenal and a young team, and um, he has had the most clean sheets of the youngest goalkeepers in the Premier League. And that is the reason why I call a legend in the making. He still have lots to learn. Obviously, he's got still lots to acquire. But if he doesn't reach those levels, yes, he won't be a legend of the game, but he can become the legend of the game. I mean, I feel that the Everton goalkeeper is the number one of England.
No, I think
Pope
he's over. I think Pickford is. Uh,
Pickford is
there's something
overrated.
about. Yeah, I think he's a bit overrated.
So between Ramsdale and Pope, I would rather have them as one and first and second choice in the England squad, not
At
Pickford.
this moment, at this moment, I would go Pope in the England squad now that he's selected. So I'm not going to talk outside England, but for me, it will be Pope. As much as I don't like him, I will say Ramsdale, and then Pickford.
Eh, I will.
Personally, I don't rate Dean Henderson. I don't rate him. I think he's overrated, and the English media just hyped him up to get him in United's team because he's English. To be honest, he is not on the same level as a David De Gea, and
No, David De
unfortunately,
Gea, as I mean, as we just said now, as older as the keeper gets, the better he gets. And the De Gea is one of those current goalkeepers that's showing that.
yeah, and
Here's another,
I think he's still in his peak regarding as a keeper. He's 31 years old now, 32.
yeah. So I mean, he's in that peak. He's in this state of becoming still better than what he is. I always said the gear, even when he started at United, a lot of United fans said he's suspect. But I said that is a keeper that will keep you out of trouble for many times to come.
Yeah, and he did. And he
And he
did.
did.
And he
He
did.
kept
Oh, he
he
did.
kept you in games all the time. He kept you in games all the time.
And that
Yeah,
is
Debbie.
something I and
Yeah.
that is something I argue with lots of United people with because you all want this guy of Brentford or that Portuguese coach, and they all no, we must get there. He's good with his feet and all this and all this. I'm saying, why pay 87, 60, 70 million, 80 million for a keeper now? And you got a keeper year of the year that is 31, that is willing to take a pay cut, that is willing to
And
come
stay.
down to 200, 250 to 200,000 a week. He wants
Yeah.
to play for United, yet you want to go pay now 80 million for a guy who's going to come here, and then he might not even be what you want, what you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah. Davy says, "Wow, I couldn't have said it may better. I couldn't have said it better about Ramsdale. His arrogance might be his strength, but it is also his weakness. He agrees with what you just now said. So
Thanks,
yeah,
Debbie. I appreciate it, Debbie.
look, like I said, I always do an hour. We are just over 3 minutes above an hour. Let's just go to the weekend's fixtures before we knock off. Um, where is it now? There. Right. Let's start with your game, Summer. FA Cup United versus Fulham. Fulham is a team obviously in form. I like Fulham. I like Fulham. But Brighton is my second team in the Premier League, and then Fulham thereafter. Do you think Fulham can keep you guys honest this weekend?
For United to win this game, they must win it within the 90, to be honest. If this game should go into extra time or penalties, then I think Fulham is going to win it. So for United, they need to try to wrap up the game very as early as possible because of the amount of fixtures they have been playing. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're still playing another 120 minutes.
Mm,
So if Fulham goes there and say, you know what, we defend because we're playing at Old Trafford, come, let's defend and let's play United on the counter. And and they might just win. I'm not saying that anything is possible. I still believe United is too strong for them. But with all the soccer United has been playing, uh, anything can happen, and it's a knockout game. So it's a
Yeah,
once-off game. Anything can happen. But I still believe United will be too strong. So I'll go for the 2-1.
2-1 win
Yeah,
over
2-1
Fulham.
winner. Yeah, I would go more in this in 2-1. But if I could, I would say 2-0 just for the gear to get a clean sheet. But I'll say 2-1.
And our game against Crystal Palace, what do you think is going to happen there? Seeing that what's the name was sacked today. Patrick Vieira was sacked today.
Yeah, I saw the interview that what's his name, Vincent Company had regarding that sacking. Uh, I think because Arsenal's so a young team, it all depends how they bounce back from the midweek game. Because I mean, you played Sunday, I think. Or you played Sunday, you played last night, and you playing again Sunday. So it's you guys are not used to playing like that. You had quite a break where you were playing one
A
game a
long
week.
break. Yeah.
A long break where you were playing one game a week. Plus now that emotional drainage. You know, you mentally drained, you emotionally drained, losing on penalties at your home.
Mm.
So it all depends how they bounce back. And as you get your new coach curse. So the new coach might come in and those players for one game only they click and they gel and then they like, yeah, then what happened? Why were they doing this with Patrick Vieira? So yeah, I'm gonna go for a draw.
Score draw or 0-0?
I'll say 1-1.
1-0. Okay. Yeah, now I'm with United with you. I'm gonna give it a 2-1 for United because also they at Old Trafford, and also I think they've got just a bit more over Fulham in the middle. However, Fulham is not gonna sit back.
Yeah,
United will because the Fulham right winger is gonna give Saw a bit of a headache, and also for Martinez. So I think but it will be won by United, and I think the middle without Casemiro is going to be very very important for you guys to win that center, and it can be done because Fulham's midfield is not that strong. They're not playing to the strength of Mitrovic. If they had played to the strength
yeah,
of Mitrovic, then I think it would have be a total different game.
yeah,
But for Arsenal, I think Arsenal will, if they should win it, they will probably nick it at 1-0. But I don't think it's going to be a very big score. It's going to be a very small, short, and tiny margin game because Crystal Palace would want to show the board that, you know what, we are going to fight for you. I would have liked for them to fight for Patrick Vieira, not because he's an
yeah,
Arsenal legend, just the fact that he's a very good tactician. And the one thing that will count against them is that their midfield also is not as good. So if Partey can come to the party, excuse the pun, if he can come to
yeah,
the party, if he can come to the party and just break down the midfield and distribute like he did every other game, then we could win the midfield over Crystal Palace because the core for Crystal Palace, he's suspect. He will give you a yellow card or he can give you a red card. And then of course their club captain, he doesn't have the pace over Partey, so he can also be outplayed. But it's going to be a tough game, so I would go for a 1-0 win over Crystal Palace.
you think it will be a early goal, or you think it will be a snap
It's
and
going to be
grab,
it's going to be a very tough game. It would probably come in the second half. I think it's
a
going to
smash and
be
grab,
a
a
pressured
late
game
goal?
where we have to pressure for that game for that goal. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a very late goal. Yeah, 79th minute around there, they're going to start maybe go for that goal if they didn't get it early. So yeah,
Okay.
that to me is gonna be the fight is the middle, and then yeah, man, it was very nice to have you here, my man, Robin.
Anytime,
We're
boss.
gonna
Anytime.
we're gonna have to say goodbye. Unfortunately, it is now an hour and 10 minutes. I don't want to go longer than that. Like I said to you off air, I would like to
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
viewers guest on what is going to come next. And here's Emerson again. He gave his predictions. Man United 3-1 and Arsenal win a nervy 2-1 in the London derby. Emerson, I hear you. It's going to be a good show there. It's going to be a very, very good show. A 3-1 for United. Oh, that's a huge score actually. What do you think of that score?
Yeah, I think it's a bit. I'd say it's a bit too huge from where United is coming from at the moment. I think United is in a stage where they just want to win now. Decent performance and get up and get a win. Get the
Yeah,
win, regardless of how it come. Now we in that stage. Like you said, we're in the championship rounds now. So you don't care how you get the knocks, how you get the punches. You must just give it and hope for the
true,
best. So we're
true,
in that
true.
stage of the campaign now.
Devi, thank you for you, man. Big ups to you, legends. Thank you for awesome show. Thank you, Devin. Listen, Devi, you and I still need to do a collaboration on your show or my show, please. We can get contact there. I want to have a nice big show with the Arsenal, the United, the Liverpool, and a Chelsea fan all together on one show. That's going to be a lacquer show. That will be nice. So thank you, Devon. Thank you, Emerson. Thank you, Damon. Byron Damon is probably one of your followers.
Yeah, shot Byron. Thank you, Byron. Thank you, Byron.
Ron, one of your followers. Thank you for having us in your company, and it's always nice to have new people on the show in the live chat. Um, Emerson, thanks a lot. Good show, and thank you for sharing my comment all the time, brother. You know how we roll. We are part of a family, football fans. Yeah, Devin says definitely soon, my brother. All right, we will have chats over our platforms. But thank you again. Last words from you, Robin. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Thank you for agreeing to become
Now,
a
thanks for
guest
the
on the
invite.
show.
Thanks for the
Anything that you
invite.
want to say?
You can invite me anytime. I'm available for you anytime. Soccer or sport in general, something that brings people together. I've seen you on TikTok. You've seen me, and yeah, I've just joined you on your show, which I really enjoyed very much. So, David, nice meeting you. Emerson, nice meeting you guys. Thanks for the support. So hopefully, if you can find me on your TikTok or Facebook, give me a shout, give me a follow. And Mr. Gunner, I appreciate it, boss. And we can chat. We got each other's numbers. We found
Yeah,
out we have close family friends. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
thanks. And I hope this is the start of many visits here on your platform.
No, definitely, definitely. Guys, that's in the chat, and those are gonna maybe watch afterwards. This guy is Robin. There's his handle, the United View. He's on Facebook. He's on TikTok. You're on Instagram as well.
Yes,
On Instagram, go and follow him. He's very open-minded. He speaks football, not just United. You can feel he's passionate about United, but he speaks football. I like his content, so go and follow and just share his videos and let's build a nation and a host of good content out there. All the best, and don't forget to be awesome. Be blessed, be safe, and keep everything around you positive. All the best. Thank you, Robin. All the best, my
pleasure,
man.
man.
Thanks, man. All right,
Cheers,
man.
cheers, cheers.